So we are finally back home today. I'll explain a little bit more later. We had a lot of time where we were in the city, just doing a lot of stuff for work in the office. So I was stuck there for a while. Really just a lot of days from like, I don't know, 5 a.m. till 10 or 11 p.m. So we're finally back. We're gonna go out for a 10-mile run now. You know, everything was nice in the city. I love being there. I wish I could split my time between the two places more, but not be so busy with work. So either way, we got to get out and run. Yeah, 10 miles. It's in our peak mileage right now, so things are ramping up, and just got to do a little catch up also because it was just a little too busy to even get out the door, let alone actually post anything. So yeah, just catching up, and let's go do it. A warm one today. Out of nowhere, after the temperatures dropped, everything warmed up again. I know for the Chicago Marathon this weekend on Sunday, it's supposed to be in the 80s, which is unfortunate for anyone running. When you're running a marathon and you prepared, and a course like Chicago, you may want to go for a personal record, personal best, and 80 degrees is not going to help that at all. So that's why I say it's too bad, but I'm sure it'll still be a fun race for many people, but it's not PR weather. So that's always a little unfortunate. Another thing we'll go over today actually is this run will put us over 100 miles on the Hoka Rincon 3. So I do just want to give you an update and let you take a look at what that looks like for me, because you know, the Hoka historically, the Rincon 3 has a history of wearing out very quickly. So I'll show you what mine looks like on the sole, the midsole, and you know, just overall what I think about the wear so far and how long I think I might continue using it. But I still like it as a shoe. It does a lot of good things for me. So we'll talk more about that later as well. Had to wring out my shirt today. The heat is back. And we're back inside. So like I mentioned before, it's been a pretty busy week with work, so I've actually just been mostly in Manhattan, kind of going back and forth, different things for the office, just getting up really early and kind of being stuck doing some work activities and things till 10 or 11 at night. So it's been pretty crazy. So definitely not as running as much as I would have liked to during these peak training weeks, but we got some 10 miles in today. So I'll put it up now. It's a 10-mile run, nice and easy, around 10 minutes per mile. About 500 to 600 feet of elevation gain, which was pretty much all in 1 mile section. So it's kind of a lot of climbing for what I wanted to do, but you know, it was, I guess, a good workout overall to get that in there. You know, there's going to be some elevation around 800 feet over the full 26-mile course for New York City. So I guess it's not a bad thing to get some elevation in. But like I said, it was just pretty tough to have it all, in 1 mile. And then the downhill also is pretty rough on your legs, and honestly more of a beating to your legs and your body than the uphill, which is just, work. But the downhill is a little bit rough. So got it done, and I felt pretty good. So now I just want to talk a little bit and show you, what these shoes look like. The Hoka Rincon 3, I've given you my full review on them. I'll put that right up here. But, what does it look like after 100 miles? I think today probably put them at 106 miles or so. So let's take a look at them and just, see what we're seeing, see what I'm feeling in the midsole, and, I'll walk you through the wear test thus far. All right, I have the shoes. I will show you the outsole, I will show you the midsole, but I will talk you through what I think is more important, and that's kind of how this shoe has been feeling on my foot, today, and in the last couple miles or last couple runs, because I think that says a lot more than what it looks like. So the outsole we have here, and we're starting to see a lot of these, EVA foam pods that are exposed are starting to, really wear down and really open up. So that's the biggest thing as far as wear. All these pods in the middle of my foot, where I think I'm kind of like a midfoot striker, it's definitely starting to wear out. You can see here on the inside portion of the heel down here, that's pretty much wearing out pretty thoroughly. The rubber on the outsole here, you can see, has really worn away the tread pattern, which again is why they added this rubber. This is newer for the Rincon 3 versus the 2, where you would have, really rubbed right through the foam again at this point. Same on the other side, it's pretty balanced. All that tread in this rubber is starting to wear down. So it's definitely wearing visibly. The forefoot again too is starting to lose some of the pattern in there. Not as bad as the heel side, I guess, but overall it's pretty balanced, the way the rubber is losing that foam. Again, some creasing through the midsole where things are starting to squish down and collapse. And then the upper looks good, but I will tell you that it's starting to stretch out a little bit, so I have to tie it tighter to really get a good lockdown. Overall, I think this material is just loosening up from the sweat and running and all the, I guess the beating it takes for my foot being in the shoe. So aside from the way it looks, after 100 miles, I have to say I feel a difference. It doesn't have the same bounce that it had out of the box. And, this isn't a bouncy foam to begin with by any means. It's not like the Nova Blast. It's not like the, the Saucony Endorphin Speed. Like, played aside the foams or, ZoomX foam in general, it's bouncier. It kind of springs you back. This is a stiffer foam to begin with, so we're not talking about, something that has a lot of pop and spring to begin with, but it still just feels more dead. I mean, I feel like when I'm landing on the ground, I'm feeling more of that impact through my body, and that's what I think in general, people have to be careful when you have a shoe that has a lot of rubber in the outsole. You still have to be careful about the way that it feels for you, and you have to get better over time at just recognizing when a shoe is kind of changing your stride or changing the way it feels on your foot, and you're not getting the protection from the road you might want, or you might be sinking into a part of the foam a little bit and you're just getting a little bit off balance because of that. That's what I'm starting to feel here. Could I still keep using them? Yes, absolutely. It's a nice light shoe. I'll probably still use it for shorter runs, but today was 10 miles and I wanted to see how it felt at this point, and I wouldn't do 10 miles in these shoes again. Certainly I don't think this breaks, me buying it again. If I was to buy another pair, I was running 18 to 20 miles in these just to see if it was a shoe that could get it done. And you can kind of see how I feel about that in the review. But because of the wearing and everything, the wear and tear on the shoe, if I got another pair, I probably wouldn't do that. And then overall, they would last longer time-wise, as opposed to, wearing out in what's been like a month now that I've gotten 100 miles and they're starting to get towards the end of their life, I think, again, because of the feel of the foam right now. So overall, again, I'll give you one more look, but that's the biggest thing for me, is just the way the foam is starting to feel. It loses some of its softness, it loses some of the forgiveness, it loses some of the bounce, and, just what makes it a good shoe, I guess, when you put it on your foot and feel like you can get out and go quickly. I think this would start to feel slower on the track. It's still light, it's still usable again, but it just feels different. It's definitely wearing through the foam more than the outsole and everything, which again, they did what they could to protect the outsole, but you can't negate, what's going on in the midsole. You have to be mindful of what's going on in a midsole of any shoe, and how it feels and how it protects you, or else, if you start running in too far over the miles of what the lifespan of the shoe should be, you may risk kind of injuring yourself in one way or another. Now, the caveat, again, I'm a heavier runner, so someone who's lighter also may get more out of the midsole. It might also help protect the outsole if you're lighter than I am. Even when I'm running marathons, I weigh around 230 pounds. So that's going to put more of a dent into the midsole foam, of course. All that weight and power pushing, me off the ground is going through the midsole. So that's a lot of force on the midsole. That's part of what wears it out. And that's certainly a factor as to what wears this out for me. So keep that in mind. Someone who's, between 100 and 180 pounds probably will have another 50 miles before maybe they feel like I'm feeling in this shoe. But hey, I can only test from me for who I am. And after 100 miles, I'm definitely starting to feel the wear and tear on the midsole of this shoe. And again, I still would buy it again. I had a lot of fun with this shoe. Still think it's a great shoe, but I wanted to check in with where we were at this point and just give that full kind of follow-up detail to you here on YouTube. So with that out of the way, this weekend I will try and get out for my 20-mile run. It's a Friday, which is normally a rest day, but I missed a couple days this week, so we'll probably do something a little bit shorter on Saturday after all, and then still get our 20-mile run in. So look forward to that on the weekend. I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope you all have a good weekend running. And let me know what races you're preparing for, because we just have Chicago this weekend. We've gone through London, Berlin just passed. So, what are you running? What are you training for? I'd love to know. And yeah, everyone have a good night.